All right, welcome. If you've got an exam coming up on Kahlil Gibran's On Children, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down everything you need to know, the key themes, the big metaphors, so you can walk into that exam feeling totally confident. So let's just start with this question because it really gets to the heart of what's going on in the poem. That feeling, of being kind of owned or pushed in a certain direction, well, that's the exact tension that Gibran is diving into headfirst. And then we get this. The prophet in the poem kicks things off with this, wow. It's a shocking statement, right? It almost sounds contradictory. Your children are not your children. That line is designed to grab you, to make you stop and really think. And honestly, it's the key that unlocks the entire philosophy of the poem. Okay, so here's our game plan for your revision. We'll look at that bold opening claim, talk about this idea of a house of tomorrow, then we'll spend a good amount of time on the bow, the arrow, and the archer. That's super important. After that, we'll see how it all comes together as a metaphor for parenting, and we'll wrap it all up with a quick review. Right, let's get into it. The prophet's bold claim. If your children aren't your children, then what's the deal? Whose are they? Let's figure that out. So, a little context here. The poem actually begins when a woman in the crowd, holding her baby, asks the prophet, Al-Mustafa, to talk about children. She wants wisdom on being a parent. And his answer, which starts with that knockout line, comes from his most famous book, The Prophet. And here's the answer. This is the core idea for your exam. Gibran says, children aren't really from us. They're from life itself, with a capital L. Life just wants to keep going. So parents, we're the channel. We're the vessel that life passes through, but we're not the source. That's a huge distinction. Through you, not from you. So if we don't own them, where do they belong? Gibran has a beautiful and simple answer for this. They belong to the future. Okay, so this is where Gibran draws a really clear line in the sand. On one side, you've got what you can give. Love, shelter, a stable home, a safe harbor. But on the other side is what you can't give. You can't give them your thoughts, you can't own their souls, and this is a big one. You can't map out their future for them. I love this line. It paints such a powerful picture, doesn't it? Children are already citizens of a future that we, as parents or adults, literally can't even imagine. Think about all the changes in the world. Their souls already live in that house of tomorrow, a place we can never visit. And here we are. This is probably the most critical part of the poem for any exam question. If you walk away remembering one thing, make it this central metaphor. It pulls every other idea together perfectly. First up, we have the bow. And the bow, that's the parents. Its job is to be stable, to be strong, to provide this solid, reliable foundation. But here's the key. It also has to be flexible. It has to be willing to bend. Then, of course, you've got the arrow. This one's pretty easy to guess. The arrows are the children. They're described as living arrows, and their whole purpose is to be sent out to fly fast and far off into their own futures. So, who's doing the shooting? Well, that would be the archer. The archer represents God or life or some kind of higher power. This is the force that actually sees the target way off in the distance and guides the whole shebang, using both the bow and the arrow to hit the mark. So, let's put all those pieces together. How does this whole bow, arrow, and archer thing give us a powerful message about what it means to be a parent? You see, the bending of the bow, that's a metaphor for all the struggles and challenges and sacrifices of being a parent. But according to the poem, it's not for nothing. The archer is bending the parents on purpose so that their children, the arrows, can be launched with enough power to go swift and far. And this part is just beautiful. Notice the balance here. The archer doesn't just love the arrow that's flying free. He also loves the bow for being stable, for doing its job. Both roles, the child's journey and the parent's foundation, are seen as equally important and equally loved. Okay, that was a lot to take in. So to wrap things up and make sure this is all fresh in your mind for the exam, let's do a super quick review of the most important takeaways. All right, this slide right here, this is basically your cheat sheet for the exam. Seriously, parents are guardians, not owners. Children belong to the future. You give love, not thoughts. And you have to know the metaphor. Bow is the parents, arrow is the children, archer is God or life. And crucially, the archer loves both. You might even want to pause here and just let all that sink in. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. The poem says the archer loves a stable bow. What does that really mean, to be a stable parent? Does it mean being rigid, unchanging? Or does it mean providing a consistent, loving, and strong foundation that gives your child the confidence to fly? It's a great question to think about. Good luck with your exam.